Welcome to episode 64 of Let's Talk Immigration. I am particularly eager to get some new questions today and maybe take on a guest. You can come on the screen and talk. What do you think about that? So if you have any questions, the best place to drop them is on YouTube or Facebook. I think if they're dropped on Telegram or Twitter, they still get here. But I don't know how that happens. It just happens, right? I'm going to give the invite code. Let me see how I do this here. Oh, that's nice. I'm going to give the invite code and put it over here in the comments so you can see it. So if you want to ask a question in person, live video, that would be great. Just go backstage and then I'll come talk to you and we'll do this, okay? We'll bring you on stage. So do you have any questions already? Yes, I do. So let's go ahead and hop on those questions. Deepak says, hello, Curtis. Does U.S. presidential election 2024 affect our DV 2020 and DV 2021 decision? Good question. Technically, no, because the decision is made by 3 judges, and these judges are not making this decision based upon who the president is. I mean, it might be in the back of their mind, but the decision is based upon the law is applied to facts. Did Judge Mehta issue the right order in Gomez and Goodluck? Was the government indeed operating on a misinterpretation of law? Like that's the question before the court, although it's separated up into a few different questions. That's what the appeals court's looking at. They're not looking at like the impact so much, like who the president is going to be. I will say this, though. It is probably more likely that if Trump is president when the decision comes, he may have some political pressure to appeal that decision if his supporters are aware of it. So this is where we're in a really awkward space, because usually I like to draw attention to cases, but drawing attention to Goodluck, drawing attention to the potential for 20,000 more diversity visa selectees coming into the U.S. could be weaponized in such a way by Republicans to where they'd be like, no, we have to stop this. So we might want to keep a low profile to see who the president is next. At the same time, if you remember original Gomez class members, the Trump administration appealed the order that reserved the visas and then dropped that appeal. So it's difficult to predict who's going to do what. Okay. So I don't know. We just have to wait and see. But the judges' decision themselves is separate from the election. But I am hoping that we do get a decision from the appeals court before all that happens. Let's hope. Okay. Sergey says hi. Hi, Sergey. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Hi, Sergey. Richie Lou says he's watching from Liberia. That's great. Thank you for watching from Liberia. I'd like to know more about what you're doing in Liberia. How is Liberia today? How is the weather? It's a little windy in San Diego. Okay, if you have a question for me today, you need to go drop that question in the comments section so I'll know to answer it, okay? Oh, we have somebody watching from, Sergey's watching from Kigali, Rwanda. I would love to visit that place. That would be really nice. He's watching on Facebook. That's right. We are streaming to Facebook. We're streaming to LinkedIn. We're streaming to Instagram, to X, to Telegram. Technology, wow, crazy. Okay. Mandamus lawsuits, motion to dismiss. A lot of times I'm hearing some misinformation in Telegram groups and forums where people say, oh, my case was dismissed. And I'm like, was it though? Because if the government files a motion to dismiss, the government is the defendant. They're not the judge. They don't always get what they want. I like to think of it like this. When I was a kid, when I was a young boy, I would wake up and I would say to my mother, can I have chocolate cake for breakfast? And she would say, no, you don't start the day that way. You don't get chocolate cake for breakfast. Well, that's what the government is doing in mandamus lawsuits when they do a motion to dismiss. They're asking the judge, can we have chocolate cake? Can you just make this lawsuit go away? And the judges, much like my mother, and they say no. That happens a lot. I wrote a blog entry a couple months ago that itemized the several orders where judges across the country, now it's up to 9 since September, have denied the government's motions to dismiss. So just because the government says, oh, please, judge, dismiss the case, does not mean the judge is going to dismiss this case. And if the government files a motion to dismiss, that's not the same as your case being dismissed. That's just the government asking for chocolate cake. And so we have to tell them no. Okay. Thank you for letting me share that analogy. Juan says, good afternoon, Mr. Curtis. I'm from Cuba. Hello in Cuba. Hola. I would like to know if Trump came out again before the court of our DV 2020 verdict, what would happen to us again? Thank you. Hi, Juan. That's funny you asked that question because that was the first question I got today. It would not be great, but I don't know if it's going to be that different, really, from Biden. Remember, Trump appealed the September 30th, 2020 Gomez order by Judge Mehta that reserved the original 9,095 visas for Gomez class members. The Trump administration appealed that, and then they dropped the appeal. Okay. It could be because their lawyers were busy with other things because they had lots of problems, but they did. Now, the Biden administration's never dropped the appeal, right? So in this context, while Trump would be awful for the United States, in my view, maybe for this specific issue, the diversity visas, we don't know how he would be. I think he would be more likely to be bad for us if his supporters knew about it. Like right now, people in America do not know about Good Luck. Okay, they don't know about Gomez. It never made it to the television. It was in some newspaper articles and some online news sources, but no, people don't know about it. When I tell people that I'm a attorney on a lawsuit with 24,000 plaintiffs, they look at me like I'm crazy because they're like, how did we not know about this? Well, people don't know. Okay. So I bring that up because that's probably a good thing if Trump becomes president, because they would fight us if they knew about it. It's kind of weird. Oh, Liberia is fine. Just that I'm worried concerning the appeal court decision, if it's going to happen this year or if we have to wait in limbo. I understand your worry. I share your worry. I hope that the decision comes soon, but I don't have any more information. Freedom Stands says, any update in DV 2020 appeal court? I feel like I've got this question before today. No, I don't have any update in the DV 2020 or the DV 2021 appeals. Okay. So it looks like I'm out of questions again. This is your last chance to give a question, or if you want to ask in person, you don't want to type, we'll throw up the invite link. I love to have people come on and be on the screen with me, and that's fun. Don't you want to be famous and be on the Let's Talk Immigration episode 64 show? Now's your chance. Now's your chance. I have a question here from Raz. How long administrative processing takes for Iranian national IV candidates following their interviews in Ankara? When AP is unreasonably long, and what options are there to speed it up? Great question. First, I will say that you are right that AP is unreasonably long. We do have a tool for trying to speed it up, and that tool is a mandamus lawsuit. We file a lot of mandamus lawsuits, usually 2 or 3 a week, sometimes 4, sometimes 5 a week. I want to show you something though, because you're asking me how long is it going to take, and I actually have some new information on that I shared last week, but maybe you missed last week's episode, so I'll share again. To do that though, I need to share my screen. So everybody get prepared while I share my screen. Here we go. Share screen. This is the declaration of Carson Wu. Carson Wu is the acting director of the Office of Screening, Analysis, and Coordination, SAC, or the screening office. They don't know what they want to be called. And in another declaration I have here, they say that the SAC, and in this declaration, he says screening office. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what he wants the office called. But I can tell you what this office does. Very little. They have 66,000 applications currently that they are vetting, and they are vetting them only with 36 analysts, I think. Let me see here. See, it's in 2 different parts. It's there it is. Resources. The Counterterrorism Division has 22 analysts, and the Screening Division has 15 analysts. So you have 37 people that work at the State Department who are in charge of clearing these SAO requests, which is what happens after someone goes in AP for national security reasons. And 19,000 of those are for the Screening Division, and 47,000 are for Counterterrorism Division. So altogether, it's 66,000. Can you imagine? 37 people responsible for 66,000 SAO requests. So that's why they take so long, because Secretary Blinken is not given the proper resources to provide the proper vetting. And I think that this is really stupid, because if his goal is to screen people out for terrorism grounds, well, they're not going to wait around for this. They're going to find another way to come into the U.S. So making this, he's just hurting families. That's all he's done, hurting families. Okay. So let's talk about some statistics here, though. Security vetting is concluded in 75% of the visa cases, requiring additional national security vetting in 120 days. That means 4 months. 3 out of 4, it's done in 4 months. 1 out of 4, it takes more than 4 months. Okay. And national security vetting for is concluded in 90% of cases in less than 2 years. What that means is, in 10% of cases, take more than 2 years. So you could stay in AP for a very long time. If people are asking me like, hey, if I don't do a mandamus lawsuit, how long will I stay in AP? And I said, you may not get out of AP, because if Trump is elected president and he re-implements the Proclamation 9645 that excluded entry nationals of Iran, and most visa categories are nationals from several countries, especially when you consider the other proclamation, 9983, the Africa ban. Things could go bad. So that's why I'm urging anyone who has access to an immigration benefit, a path to an immigration benefit, that they try to get it this year while it may still be available. Oh my gosh, I went from no questions to a bunch of questions. Sergey says, welcome to Rwanda, a country of thousands of hills. I like hills. No, I don't like big hills, though. They make me tired. Do you think if the court rules on our favor, they should appeal in the Supreme Court? I don't know what the Biden administration would do. I don't know what the Trump administration would do. I think it has a lot to do with how much publicity the case has. So we have to be very strategic in how we use publicity throughout this year. Right now, I've kind of put it on hold because I want to wait and see what's going to happen. Also, it's difficult to get publicity. So I'm not going to speculate about that right now. I don't know. But also keep in mind that it's not just the defendants that could appeal the decision. If we don't like the decision, it might be a situation where we appeal the decision. Or it's impossible. I don't know. Nothing's impossible. Right. If a case is characterized as A, what does AP? Oh, what does AP stand for? AP stands for administrative processing. What AP means, especially when there's a DS 5535, is that the consular officer sends a security advisory opinion to this office called the Screening Analysis and Coordination Office that Carson Wu runs, and they just sit on it. Okay. I mean, not forever. Sometimes they let some of those out, but when they're, but I recommend litigation. I recommend a lawsuit. Okay. Regina says, hello, I'm DV 2021 participant. Good luck. Hello, Regina. What news about Good Luck? I don't have news about Good Luck. Also, Good Luck is one word because it is Mr. Good Luck's last name. When we'll get our visas? I don't know if you will get visas. Keep in mind, even if we beat the appeal and Judge Mehta grants us summary judgment of those almost 7,000 visas, there are 20,000 people that want them. So there are going to be some disappointed Good Luck plaintiffs, even if we win. There's going to be some very happy, thrilled Good Luck plaintiffs, but 2 out of 3 will not be happy. This is a consequence of the way Judge Mehta wrote his order that was great in that it acknowledged that we were right, but it wasn't great in that it didn't give us remedy. It didn't give us relief for all of our plaintiffs. We have asked him to expand that remedy in our motion for summary judgment, but we don't know if he's going to find those arguments compelling. Okay, David says, hello, Mr. Morrison. Are the judges aware of the justice delay and justice denied principle? Yes, David. They do not live under rocks. They are the, you don't get to be a judge in the Circuit Court of Appeals in the District Court of Columbia unless you have your act together, okay? Merrick Garland, who's now the Attorney General, this was his job before that. He was a judge in the Circuit Court of Appeals for the District Court of Columbia. It's really one of the top court underneath the Supreme Court because it decides a lot of decisions related to U.S. policy, U.S. government policy. So they are very experienced and knowledgeable judges, and so we don't want to say anything to imply otherwise. The delay of the Good Luck case, Good Luck is one word, it's somebody's last name. is a deliberate attempt by the judges to deny us victory. David, no, that is not true. If the judges wanted to deny you victory, they would grant the government's appeal. Have they done that? No. What are they doing instead? They're deliberating and balancing their other cases. Meanwhile, we have somebody who could benefit from what they're doing making accusations about them that are unsupported. Okay, we have no reason to believe that the good luck plaintiffs are attempting to deny you victory. So let's not speculate about things we don't know, especially when it involves judges. Okay, judges are our friend. We love our judges. If it were legal, we would send them cookies. Okay, Hamza says, hey, Curtis, what's going to happen with the DV program if Trump comes back again, especially the lawsuits? Well, it's two different things, okay? Also, a big factor that you're not saying is whether or not Trump comes back again with a Republican Congress or with a Democratic majority House or Senate who can stop him. Because Congress, to make law, you need the House, you need the Senate, and you need the president. You need all three to make law. They all have to agree. And as of right now, Democrats are not going to burn the DV program. My worry is they might burn it if they're getting something else that they want. Like Biden really wants money for Ukraine, okay? So sometimes political outcomes are not ideal. But I think if Biden is reelected, the DV program kind of keeps going as it is, which means they're issuing diversity visas, but they're fighting us in court. Okay, like that's the Biden way. And for Trump, a lot of unpredictability. What happened during the last Trump administration is Congress would not cooperate with him in ending the DV program. And so they implemented policies to try to do it themselves. Many of those policies were found unlawful. Like they did a passport requirement, like you need a passport to enter the DV lottery. That was found unlawful by a judge appointed by Trump, actually. So I think that what happens with Trump and the DV program kind of depends on what happens with Congress, those elections too. Okay. Freedom Stand says, how's State Department going to prioritize cases if we win the appeal court ruling, especially for those who had their interview scheduled? We don't know. I'm not going to answer the question because we don't know. I think that if you had your interview scheduled already, you probably have an advantage over someone that has not had their interview scheduled. But I don't know. We don't know. Okay. Richie Lou says, I know I'm not saying your name right. I'm sorry. My case is 6,000. If the appeal court rule in our favor, what's the possibility of me obtaining one of these reserved visas? Okay, Rich Lou, you are not giving me a lot of information. I know you're from Liberia, so Monrovia is probably your embassy. I'm trying to remember if you're DV 2020 or DV 2021. You're wanting me to guess. Okay. I can't put a number on this. I could say that people have advantages and they have disadvantages. If you are waiting on an embassy that is staffed, that's an advantage for you. If you have a high case number, that's a disadvantage for you. Okay. But there's no, when you say what's the possibility, you're asking me to give you a number, and there's no way to calculate that. If there was, you would probably be able to calculate it better than me. So, okay. DV 2020, Gertie Gert says, I don't have an update on DV 2020. That's been covered a few times already. Okay. So it looks like that's all the questions we have today. So I'm going to wrap up the show early, and I'm going to fit in one more question. Okay. Faisal says, is there any hope blue states can turn red this year? Faisal's talking about the election. Is there any hope? it's difficult to know what you're wanting hope for. In the past, we'd say, oh, we want Biden to be president. But in my view, I don't know. Is there any hope that Trump will not be president? Yes, he's a very old man. He could die. But if that doesn't happen, I think that there's a good chance he will be president. And I blame Biden for this 100%. Like, he shouldn't be seeking a second term, in my view. People that are in their 80s should stay at home and watch TV and enjoy their grandchildren. They should not be trying to run the country. That applies to Trump. That applies to Biden. That applies to Mitch McConnell. That across the board. Okay. I'm a DV 2021. Good luck, and was documentarily qualified December 30th, 2020. I don't think documentarily qualified even matters anymore, because they don't do that anymore. For diversity visa selectees, they just let the embassy do the documents. They don't let KCC do it. But I understand why you're giving me that information. You think I'm going to calculate the possibility, and I'm not. Okay. So you're at a disadvantage, probably, that I don't know, you would have been at a disadvantage that your DQ date was so late in the year, the fiscal year, or was it late in the fiscal year? They started in May. People started doing their applications in May, but then the fiscal year started in September. I don't know. But right now it doesn't matter, because documentarily qualified isn't part of the DV program anymore. So anyway, you just have to wait and see, like everybody else. Okay. There's no crystal ball that's going to tell anybody whether or not they're going to get a reserved good luck or Gomez visa. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining me for episode 64. I'll see you next week for episode 65. Bring your questions. Okay. Take care.